guys, this is Beatriz Vieira. I'm your host from Sexy in Toronto City, directly from Toronto. And today I have here with you Superman, Clark Kent, maybe. No, truly and truly, I have a Ryan Permison for you, directly from Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me and for that wonderful introduction.
Ryan, we don't know each other for so long, but I became a fan. I became a fan how original, genuine, and you speak your mind, your truth, your feelings, and you're not afraid to let everybody know. So a little bit background on Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan and I met in another platform. We're not going to make a publicity here because they're not funding us. But we were in this platform, which was super fun. And there was lots of people trying to match Ryan to Lois Lane because Ryan loved comic books, right? And his favorite is Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, so, that is correct. He's my favorite fictional character. Yeah.
Exactly. So we start to chat there, and I was also the bachelorette afterwards, so that was super fun.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was.
It was fun, Ryan. So Ryan, thank you for being here. Thanks for accepting my invitation. And why I invited Ryan to come here today. Ryan's 34 years old, and he believes in true love, in true connection. Correct, Ryan?
Yes, I do.
So can you tell a little bit for us, what are you looking for, Ryan? Why do you still believe in true love? What inspired you to believe in true love?
Wow, these are deep questions. Hopeless romantic. So here, but here's the deal. No, I'm at a point in my life now where, when someone's in their late teens and their 20s and they're going into their 30s, they're playing the field, they're dating, they're trying to, have these relationships, see what's out there, play the field. And I've done that here and there. I've had a few girlfriends in my past, but nothing really never worked, unfortunately. And whether it's, on one side of the fence or my side of the fence, it just didn't work for whatever reason. And I'm at a point in my life now, here being at the age of 34, I'm going to be 35 at the end of next month, respectively. I am at the point where I want to spend the rest of my life with somebody who is, what am I looking for? So someone who, has goals and goes after them, someone who has a bit of a nerdy side to them, whether it's going to conventions and dressing up within cosplay, but they don't have to. That's not like a specific requirement. It's not like a deal breaker.
Superwoman?
Well, I mean, hey, it's Wonder Woman in this case, but Wonder Woman, Super, whatever. So, someone who's into the nerdy side of things, whether it's going to conventions, whether it's going to the movies, with their significant other, whether it's just staying at home, Netflix and chill, nothing too fancy, nothing too expensive, because, I don't feel like I need someone that I need to treat them to a nice restaurant every night. We don't have to go out to a restaurant every night. We can just stay at home, enjoy each other's company, do it, whatever it is that we want to do. Companionship, yeah, and spend quality time with one another, because that's what I'm looking for. Someone I can spend quality time with, someone who has similar interests as me, but they don't have to be exactly the same, because everybody is different. Everybody has their likes and their dislikes respectively, and that's fine. But if they have a nerdy side to them, hey, I'm not going to say no. Yeah. So
it's gonna be the jackpot for you, eh?
If that were to occur, yes, it's like winning the bloody jackpot. So someone who's loyal, someone who's kind, someone who's generous, selfless, gets along well with their family, just someone who's there for you when things are rough, someone who's there for you when things are positive. It could be the best day of your life, it could be the absolute worst. Like, it could be absolute worst, but they are there to offer their hand and say, hey, you're going through something rough. It's a bummer. It sucks, but I'm here to help get you through it, because, and this is something that I feel that everybody feels to a certain degree, is loneliness,
True.
Because, we have our friends, we have our family, but that we need something that's, something that we can relate to more so than our families and our friends, our circle of friends. Yeah. So I'm looking for someone who I can just, lock hands with, put
marriage. Do you believe in marriage?
Yes, I do believe in marriage. But yes, I believe in marriage. So I'm looking to hopefully have that and experience that one day. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm not a mind reader, but if that were to happen, yes, I am looking for someone to spend the rest of my life with, which would include, yes, it includes marriage. But if you love it, put a ring on it. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
So Ryan, you said like, it didn't work in the past. And
Yes.
one thing I think is very important that everybody know is that you were diagnosed with autism when you're 11, right? But that does not define you because you're way more than being a label.
Hmm.
And what has impact on your dating experience, like being diagnosed with autism? And when you tell people like I'm being diagnosed, like what is people's reaction to that?
I would say the reaction is a bit more, I would say a bit more understanding and respectful now than it was back when, because I was diagnosed at the age of 11, going into the fifth
Mhm.
grade, to be a little bit more specific, just to give the person who may be watching this a little bit of context. So when I was first diagnosed, in the beginning, I thought my life was over. I'm like, oh, I have Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism. What am I going to do now? Is this cancer? Does this mean I'm not going to be able to do certain
Scary.
things that neurotypicals would be able to do? Like, what exactly is this? I didn't fully understand it.
Hmm.
And then once I started to sit down and do a little bit of research and try to understand it a little bit better, I realized that my brain is just wired differently. It receives information differently than a neurotypical person would, but it doesn't mean that I can't succeed and achieve the goals that I have set out for myself. Or if I wanted to find someone to spend the rest of my life with, it doesn't mean I can't find somebody. It just means that I receive information differently, and it may take me a bit to understand what a person is saying depending on what it is that they're telling me. And
Hmm.
people's sense of humor is a bit difficult for me at times. I don't understand when someone is exactly telling a joke or being silly or being sarcastic. It's difficult for me to detect at times, but
The
then again,
emotions.
yeah, emotions are a bit different. But for me, I mean, I'm an empath, so I'm very good at being empathetic and being there for somebody and saying, hey, I know this stinks right now, but you're going to get through this, and tomorrow's a fresh new day. So just try to,
Hmm.
pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and proceed with whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, right? Because there were
Hmm.
so many days where I was in high school, specifically high school, where I was bullied a lot. I mean, I was bullied a lot through my elementary, my middle school, and my high school years, to be more specific. But high school was very, very tough. But one of the things that helped get me through it was doing high school theater, doing drama, participating in plays and acting and being in front of an audience. Because ever since I was at the tender age of 6, I knew that I wanted to do something in the form of entertainment. I don't know whether it was about to be an actor, a comedian, or something. I don't know exactly what it was. At the beginning, I thought I was going to be an actor, but then I realized, oh, you have to go through a lot of auditions. You got to move out to so and so city. You got to wait tables. You got to you got to go through a lot of no's before
Hmm.
you get to the first
Hmm.
yes. And I didn't think I could handle that because I'm a patient guy, but up to a point. It's like if
Hmm.
I'm not getting yeses, it's like, what are you doing? I'm a talented guy here. Come on. So I realized
Oh, Ryan has a good
that
sense of humor, guys.
I'm trying to, yeah, I try, ladies, I try. But what I realized was a little bit later on in my life, after I went through the process of going through high school and graduating, getting through the tough situations at that time, I went to a trade school for broadcasting right after high school. And then I learned how to be a DJ on radio, and I got a diploma in radio after being in a school where I had 600 hours worth of training. Went into the trade, worked at my local radio station here in Baltimore, over here for about 2.5 years. I was a board op. I was working behind the scenes. I wasn't an on-air talent. I was working behind the scenes, answering phone calls. I was a phone screener for a sports talk show. And listen, I don't. No offense to those of you who like sports, but I'm not a sports guy. That's just not my realm. So
You're a
I was.
nerd that
I'm a
enjoy comic books. Let's put
well.
that out there.
Exactly. Other stuff that doesn't concern
And
sports. I'm more so.
Ryan,
Yes.
I have to
Yes.
ask you, do
Yeah. Go
you,
ahead.
when you went there and did this course, broadcasting, do you
Yes.
buy
Yes.
your
Yeah.
voice too there? There was a selection of kind of type of voice you want to buy because your voice is beautiful.
I don't hear too many people tell me that. But I will say this. No, I realize that, you don't have to be an actor to entertain people. You don't have to be in a certain position to entertain people. You can be on the radio and still entertain millions of people around the world. You can be, in this
Hmm.
case, now we fast forward a little bit. Now I'm doing something called podcasting, and I love it to pieces because I get to share my passions,
Share
whether
with
it's moving.
everybody the name of your podcast.
Oh, yeah, sure. So the name of my podcast that I do every week, it's a weekly show. It's on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called And I Quote. I interview content creators of all shapes incisors that join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. Yeah. So I've interviewed writers, producers, actors, directors, comic book writers, comic book illustrators. I've interviewed Comic-Con runners. I've interviewed independent publishers, independent writer. I mean, I've interviewed a gamut of incredible people, and I've made networking connections because of that. So because of that, I'm able to meet new people every week. And that's something that I enjoy doing, is meeting new people every week and hearing what it is that they're passionate about, their story. If it falls into something that I enjoy myself, then hey, we have something in common. We can build on that. That's something that you can connect on, if you will. But throughout all the training and the hardships and the negatives that I went through, I realized my voice is better served as a podcaster, because you're your own boss. You create the content that you want to create. You don't have to work a certain amount of hours. You put as much time and effort into it as you want, and you're going to get as much as you get out of it in return. So because I do a weekly show every week, because I do a monthly show with my good friend Crayley, who's one half of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, hashtag always support your friends, called Comic Books The New Class, where we introduce new readers to comic books once a month. It's a once a month show. That's on third Tuesday of every month. You can find us at Comic Books The New Class on Facebook, hashtag always be promoting. So I do this stuff because I love it, and I feed off of other people's energy when I'm talking to them, or if I'm hanging out with them in the physical sense, like if I'm hanging out with them at an arena, in a convention center, or at a table in a restaurant, whatever. I feed off of other people's energy. Now, granted, I'm a lot of energy, but I'm looking for someone, when it comes to looking for true love, I'm looking for someone who is the yin to my yang. Like if I'm high energy and she's high energy, that may not always work at times, because if you have too much energy, it's going to be
Then you guys
overwhelming.
gonna create a bomb.
Well, yeah, probably, but I'm probably in a figurative sense. But I'm looking for someone who is the yin to my yang, someone who can be the calm in the midst of my greatest storm, whether I'm having a horrible day or I'm just not feeling it. You know, I'm not feeling the vibes. You know what I mean? I'm just not feeling it. And then she comes over and says, "Hey, let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. What is it that's making you so upset?" Because sometimes when people get angry or upset, they need space.
Yeah, but let's
They
get
need to take a
into
step
that.
back.
Let's go, like, let's
Yeah,
get
sure.
into that.
Absolutely.
Because you said to me you had like some relationships and they didn't work.
Mhm.
What it was that you found to be more challenging to make that relationship work? Whatever was the the experience that you have through your life, what it was to you that keep it coming as a recall, like, oh, it's not working. Maybe I need to work on something in this way, or what it was for you.
No, sure. I mean, I think it some of the things that the obstacles that were difficult to overcome, and maybe because certain relationships that I've had in the past didn't work. I think the first person I was with, she didn't quite understand my autism at the time. She wasn't sure how to handle it. She wasn't sure how to deal with it, I guess. So she had a bit of a trepidation, or maybe a bit too much nervousness about it. So she just kind of broke it off with me. That was when I got dumped. Hey, we've all been to the Heartbreak Hotel. It's no fun, right? But and then my most recent one that ended about a year and change ago, she wanted to move forward with the relationship when it comes to intimacy in certain ways that I wasn't ready for, or certain ways that I wasn't comfortable with. I mean, I expressed my thoughts about this to her a little bit early on in the conversations, but then again, she kept kind of trying to.
Can you elaborate more, because it's a little bit vague for
Yeah,
us
that's true. That's
when
true.
like, are you comfortable to share with us? Because I understand, like, for example, me, I have been a celibate journey. I do not want to have any kind of sexual intercourse with anybody. It's my own personal experience. I wanted to really connect in a mental, emotionally with a man. And there is men, when you go through the dating scene, they do not want to respect that. They wanted to just kind of move forward, and like they want, like, in a like a second date, already take you to the bedroom, and that's not how it works. So is that in that kind of way it is for you as well? Like, you did not want to have some intimacy with this lady, and then she get offended because you kind of like, hey, I'm not ready, or was something else?
Yeah, it was because I wasn't ready, and I just didn't feel comfortable satisfying her in somewhat, not full on sex, but somewhat sexual ways that lean towards that area. I just wasn't comfortable with it, and then we mutually just broke it off. And I was like, okay, I understand. It's, hey, we're still friends though, believe it or not. That's the truth. But yeah, I just wasn't ready to move forward in certain steps where I took a vow to keep my V card until I get hitched. So And yes, ladies,
So
I
you
still have my,
believe like,
I'm willing to admit it. I still have my V card. It's a true statement. I still got it.
so you believe that intimacy has to be after marriage?
As soon as we put a ring on it, yeah. I mean, is it tempting to go to those certain areas before you put a ring on it? Yes. I mean, we've all been tempted. We're all, you know, we've all struggled with temptations. Don't get me wrong, but I made a promise to myself, made a promise to my, it's my, my family. I would just say, listen, because I grew up in a Christian home. So
Of course, I respect
yeah.
that, and
So
I
from,
admire you for that. Like, honestly, I think
yeah.
it's a beautiful thing when a man are able to respect a woman and wanted to know her more in an intellectual, emotional way than
Mhm.
try to get into her, and in the bedroom and have a hangy bangy thing. Goodbye now, ciao. I know it's like, I know you can laugh, Ryan.
No, it's fine. I like the terminologies. It's great. It's wonderful. There's a lot of different words that are used to describe certain things that happen in the bedroom.
I'm trying
So
to keep this friendly and not like using
it's
the.
fine. I'm okay with that. I try to keep things above water and above PG rating, if not 13. So yeah, trust me. When I do my podcast, when it comes to, and I quote, 9 times out of 10, we're family friendly. We do have a few slips of the tongue here and there every
Of
now
course,
and then, but hey, we're human. We make
of
mistakes,
course.
right?
But
But
let's
I
go
try to,
back to
yeah,
this kind of, because this
yeah,
is
of
very
course.
important for the
It is.
ladies
No, you
that is
got it.
listening, for the man that is listening too.
Yeah.
I feel that society right now is very superficial,
Hmm.
right? Because when you describe the dreaming girl for you, it's not like scientific rock here. We're not trying to create something that doesn't exist.
Hmm.
But I feel like with the social media, they invent so much superficiality and superficial ways to live that is not the real truly life. That when a girl listen to a man say, I prefer more, I'm more laid back, I'm more somebody that enjoy to have a more family time and spend some time home than just take you to fancy restaurants and this and that, it turns off some woman, and that's a good thing, I think, because then you kind of go to this kind of like passing them through the foil, and make the right selection, right?
Yes, absolutely. I would agree with that.
That's awesome. Like, I really admire you for that. I really admire you for that, and thank you for sharing that personal part of you.
Yeah,
So
no problem. I'm probably one of the few men who's willing to admit, hey, I still got my V card, fellas. What's up?
yeah,
You
but
know?
this is there's no shame. There's
No,
no
there's no shame in
shame
it.
for
I'm just
that.
saying, I'm here. I'm in front of whoever's watching or listening to this. Hey, I'm willing to admit it. I may be
And,
34,
and
but
you know
hey,
what?
I still got it, pal.
And you know what? The woman that's gonna be with you, she's gonna be so happy to know that she's the lucky one and that you are able to be as somebody that's loyal, that's not gonna fall in temptation to another woman in that department,
That's true.
right? Like,
That's true because loyalty is important. Yes, I'm looking for someone who's loyal 100% of the time.
exactly.
So,
So what else are important to you to find in a partner that is really hard to find these days? Like,
oh my gosh.
you go on dates. You go on dates. Come on, you go on
Yeah.
dates. We were in a freaking bachelorette room.
Yeah.
Like, we go on dates virtually or not, you know what I mean? In person or virtually. When you listen people talk and they can give a vibe, right? What is important to you that when you kind of like, can you identify right away, like, oh, this person is not for me, or like, can you sense that right away, or you take a longer to kind of, go through the process of selection?
Yeah, I would say I try to give each, whoever it is, the chance, the benefit of the doubt. I don't think you can base too much off of just one conversation with that person. You got to have multiple conversations with somebody to find out who they are, what is it they're about, what is it they believe in, or what is it they enjoy, some of their goals, their aspirations, that kind of thing. So yeah, I would say you can't really tell much off of one conversation. You got to have multiple ones to understand a person fully, because otherwise, in a way, you're kind of judging the book by the cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other than, be super faithful, because like, I can see that you're gonna be a super faithful husband, What else do you think you're gonna be as like when you? How can you describe yourself as a husband? What kind of husband material you are?
Wow, great. Man, these are the deep questions, folks. So no, it's fine. This is what we sign up for on this show. So I'm the kind of husband who will be loyal with you through thick and thin. I will cheer you up when you're having the absolute worst day of your life, or whether you're having a good day. I'll still tell you a joke. Probably still quote a little movie line to you, because that's one of the things I'm good at. With my autism, I'm able to remember a lot of movie lines from movies or TV series. So if I watch something a few times, the whole
Okay,
thing
tell
can go
me
right
one
up.
from Superman and Lois Lane.
Well, there's a lot of different iterations of those characters, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. Like, are we
Okay,
talking movies? Are we talking the TV shows? Like, what are
we
we
talk.
talking here?
Okay, by the way, Stove. What is the name? Stoville.
You mean Smallville?
Smallville.
My
Jesus.
favorite show. That's my
My
favorite show.
favorite show too, by the way. I used to like
Really?
binge watch that show like no stopping. And I was
Uh,
like, my Lord, he's so handsome too. You know? I was like, yes. I love everything that is Superman. I'm a big fan of Superman too, by the way.
I
So
love this. I love this. Sorry, I shouldn't say the word love on the first date, but man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
are
Yes.
you trying to flirt with me, Ryan?
I, you know, what's the expression that RDJ used? Maybe. I'm
Oh,
sorry. There's my smile right there. So, so Superman. Well, Smallville. Let's get Smallville's my favorite show, because honestly, Smallville got me through a dark period of my life. So I got a lot of people to thank for Smallville.
oh, tell us about it.
Yeah. So my biological father, my father passed away 16 years ago in 2000 and what was it? 2005.
My
And
condolences.
it was sudden too. I mean, he was struggling health wise, but he was still fighting the good fight, and we thought he was going to pull through. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. So when he passed away, 8 weeks later, I saw something on a television set where the 100th episode of Smallville was about set to air. It was called Reckoning, was the name of the episode. And this is the episode of Smallville. It's the 100th episode. It aired on January the 26th, 2006, 8 weeks after my dad died. And in that episode, the context of that episode, in the episode Reckoning, Clark Kent loses his dad as well. Very suddenly.
Oh
Very
my.
suddenly. This is where Clark Kent loses Jonathan Kent, aka Pa Kent, on Smallville,
Yeah.
played by the incredible John
Wow.
Schneider. So when Clark Kent's father dies, suddenly
Receive
out of
my
the
hug, okay? My
thank
virtual
you.
hug,
No,
please.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I listen. Hey, heart emojis. So when his father died in that episode, I was a puddle. I was bawling,
Oh,
because in that moment where Clark loses his dad, and then by the way, the funeral sequence at the very end of this episode called Reckoning of Smallville, it's
oh,
on YouTube. Look up this final 4 or 5 minutes, because this funeral sequence is incredibly well, despite it being sad, it's incredibly well done from a production standpoint. So when I see Clark go to his dad's funeral, and they have the funeral, they lower his casket into the ground, and he loses his dad prior to that. I was in that moment with Clark saying, oh my God, I can relate to this character on so many different levels, because I know what it's like to have abilities, but you're not quite sure how to use them. You're not, because having autism in a way, this is an analogy. Having autism in a way is kind of like being Clark Kent. You have these abilities, but you're afraid to tell someone that you have this ability,
mhm.
or, autism has been referred to as a disability. But
I
I was, yeah,
like I'm up.
it's
Sorry,
not, it's a
sorry to
gift. It's
interrupt
not a
you.
curse.
No, I have to say this.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Like I am in love with the TV show Love on the Spectrum, and I am learning so much about the autism and how they are such a more how can I say this? Like I don't want to use the word pure, but in a way, I feel more that you guys have a more values to life. You
Mhm.
guys are not so superficial. You guys are more connected to who you guys are. You guys
Yep.
have a more sense of your environment. You are a better listening person. There's so much more about an autism person that I'm like, I feel it. Like I was like, I devoured the TV show. Like I
Mhm.
didn't stop. I went to bed. It was 3 o'clock in the morning because I was like one after another. I want to learn more, and I'm curious. And remember one of those lady, Susie, I remember her name. She was saying that she dated. So for those that listen to us, is because Ryan and I, we met in another platform. That's super cool platform. I'm not gonna promote it here because I'm not making any penny on this. If you guys are really curious to know, go and hit me on DM me or send me a message, and I will share the platform just for you that is really curious to know. Anyways, so Susie was saying that she dated a person that was, and she said, I quote, I liked that he was punctual. If he said that he's gonna be there at 7, he was there at 7. If he said I have to leave at 10, he had to leave at 10, right? So I wanted to just, put it out there again, because a lot of people think that as disability, and I feel like it is a superpower. So please proceed, my superhero.
No, yeah, of course. No, yeah, that's another thing we're good. We autistics are really good about is keeping things on time and keeping a schedule and being on time, not late, ladies, not late. Anyway, so in the context of Smallville, when he loses his dad, I was with Tom Welling, who portrays the character of Clark Kent on Smallville. I was with him in that moment. I was crying because I knew exactly what he was feeling. He was feeling powerless. He was feeling hopeless because he lost one of the biggest key figures in his life, and that is his dad. A father and a son, a mother and a daughter, those are very close knit, like those are sacred bonds when it comes to family, right? So when he lost his dad, I was crying from pretty much from like the last 20 minutes on. I was just bawling, and I was like, this, because of that episode that occurred on that night in that context of that time frame, 8 weeks after my dad died, I realized I liked Superman before, but I wasn't a diehard Superman fan like I am now. So because of Smallville, I am a diehard Smallville fan, diehard Superman fan, diehard / Clark Kent, because I could relate to that character on so many levels. Because when I lost my dad, I didn't know what to do. I was sad, I was upset, I was angry, I was you have all these mixed emotions going through one's head when you lose a loved one. Everyone has these emotions. I'm not the first person to admit this, and I won't be the last. Let me point that out. But that helped me grieve with my grief for my dad, because Clark was experiencing the same exact stuff that I was. And this is a character on a television show. You wouldn't think that I would be able to relate, because it's fictionalized, it's a television show, it's a production, but
How
at the
old
same
are you again when you went through that?
Oh yes, I was 18. I was a senior in high school, and my father passed away in December of 2005. So he didn't even see me go to prom with my girlfriend at the time. He didn't see me graduate from high school in the graduation ceremony. He was there in a spiritual sense, but physically he was not there, and that to a certain degree that irked me. Like, that hurt. It's like, oh, he can't be here to see me with my girlfriend Emily at the time. He can't be there to see me with holding my head up high as getting a degree in high school. But you know what? He was there. It's just, it would have helped if he were there in a physical sense. But listen, all that stuff aside, Smallville is what got me through the grief, helped me deal with my grief for my father. It made me a bigger Superman fan. It inspired me to just deal with my grief and go through the motions and go through whatever it was that I had to go through to move on with my life. Because when you lose somebody, it sucks, but you got to find a way to move on, because otherwise, you're just going to be sitting in a corner, counting the days to you kick buckets. And I don't want to do that, because right, because there's so much I want to do in my life, and in a way, I'm still doing it today. I'm still accomplishing stuff that I set out for myself, many years ago. I'm just doing it in a different way, and I took a different path. But listen, we make plans, right? Yeah. Nothing ever goes according to plan. You're always going to be thrown a curveball. You're always going to have to turn left when you should have gone right. It's just, it is what it is. But I'm a better person because of Smallville. I'm a better person because of my dad. Because if it weren't for my dad, and Dad, I'm giving you a shout out. If it weren't for the big guy, I would not have my sense of humor. I would not have my way with words for the ladies.
Oh,
and if it weren't for
so Daddy used to talk to you about the ladies?
Dads talk to their kids about how to approach certain
not
things.
All of them.
Well, not all of them, but Dad, not all of them, but Dad was, I don't know. I just feel like I got certain things and certain qualities from my dad.
What was the best advice he gave you about like the ladies?
Oh man, to be quite honest with you, it's been so long since he passed away, and it's been a long time since I've had to,
Mhm.
really talk to him about it. I can't remember exactly what advice he gave me on, approaching women or being nice to women, whatever it was. I can't remember. All
Okay.
I do know is that have a sense of humor is always a great quality to have when you're with somebody. And another thing is just be yourself.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, just have a sense of humor about stuff because life's too short to be upset and angry all the time. I think that's one of the things I got from my dad. I think after my dad died, I just kind of realized, oh man, we're not going to be here very long. This was like a gut check. It makes
Mhm.
you think a little bit, right? You got to think to yourself, oh, if my dad can go, any one of us could go at any time. We better,
Absolutely.
we better celebrate the things while we still can and make connections while we still can make them because we're not going to be here very long, unfortunately. As much as we
Absolutely.
may want to drink from the what's it called, the youth, what is it, the fountain of
The
youth, like in
fountain,
that movie
yeah.
Tuck Everlasting, the Disney movie that came out many years ago, which by the way was filmed here in my state of Maryland, believe it or not, and I almost became a part of that movie too. But because of Tuck Everlasting, we don't have access to the Fountain of Youth, so we're not going to be here very long. So we got to do our best to make each day count. I know it's not always easy. It's never going to be easy. I don't think life was ever meant to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. So I just do it the best I can, which in this case is podcasting every week, entertaining however many people I can every week, and enjoying the things that I enjoy, whether it's going to conventions with hopefully a lovely-dovey person, or going to conventions with my friends, or reading books. I enjoy reading. That's another hobby I have on my plate. So,
So Ryan,
you know, there's just the things that I do. But anyway, back to you. I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
no, it's all good. We love that. We love when we have a guest here and we can go really deep and learn more about them and their experience. And I love that. We all love that. Um,
Of
Tell
course.
me a bad date experience that you had. Do you remember any? Because
Hmm.
the girls say a lot about the guys. Like I have a terrible stories about date, like with boys, like going on a date. Oh my, I can talk about like for hours. Do you have any serious? Do you have any bad date experience?
Well, for me, this isn't really a bad. Well, I mean, it is kind of a bad dating experience. Well, does the situation that came up where I went out with somebody at the time, and we went to the movies at this point. And right after the movie, we were sitting in this. I think it was either the lobby of the theater, or maybe it was the lobby of a nearby mall, which was in our area, which
Mm-hmm.
is still there to this day. I think we're sitting in a mall and we're talking about the movie, and as soon as we share our thoughts and opinions about what we thought about the movie, she looks at me and she's like, "I don't think this is gonna work." And then she just immediately just dropped the hammer and broke up with me that day, right after seeing Spider-Man 3 from 2007. So after Spider-Man 3, which by the way, that's not a great movie to begin with. I mean, at the in the when we first saw the movie, we thought it was okay. We didn't like love it, but we thought it was still
But
a good
were
movie.
you dating her already? Like, or
Yeah, we were, yeah.
okay.
And she just dumps me right on the spot right after we see Spider-Man, like a good movie, and we're having this really good time and experience. Right after that, she's like, "Listen, I don't think this is gonna work. So I got to break up with you. This isn't gonna work."
Oh, so do
Um,
you ever like dated like girls that is on the spectrum or you just date like
Neurotypicals. I've only dated the women that I have had relationships with. They've all been neurotypical. None of them have been autistic.
okay, I got him.
Right?
Sucks, man, because you're a wonderful person.
Really? You think I am? Get out of here. You're making me blush over here in my own studio. Gosh,
Yes, you
when does
are.
that happen? Hardly ever. Um,
So, and
yeah,
the last
sure,
question for you
sure.
for the
Ask
night,
away.
what would it be the advice you would give for the man that wants real, true commitment out there?
Ooh, great
Ooh, the
question.
pressure on you
I
now in the
know,
male race.
I know. Oh my goodness gracious. The best advice I can give someone who's trying to, get into the dating realm, or,
That
dating
wants
somebody.
true love, true commitment, because going on dates,
Yeah.
talk to the girls and try to sleep with them and whatever. A lot of men are doing that, but I wanted you to
Mm,
talk to those men that really want a true commitment, what
okay.
they
So,
should do.
right. All right. So the best piece of advice I can give you is know what you want. Be honest with yourself. Stay true to yourself. be something you're not. Don't listen to your peers. Don't let the peer pressure get to you, especially. Do not let peer pressure get to you. Be your own person. And if you're looking for commitment, you know, do it. Just be that person. Be upfront with her. Just say, hey, if this develops into something, I'm going to be there for you through thick and thin. I'm only focused on you because I want to do my best to make this work. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It never is, because if it were easy, everyone would do it. But if you're looking for true commitment, be honest with yourself, be true to yourself too. Because if you try to be something you're not, or you let the peer pressure get to you, because we've all had experiences of peer pressure, right? Like when I was in school, I had the hots for a couple of different girls when I was in like middle or elementary or middle school, whatever it was. I had my friends in tech ed class, like shop class, was like, dude, ask her out, just go for it, bro. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm nervous, I don't know if it's gonna do. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't fully confident yet. I wasn't confident yet. But nowadays, hey, listen, I do a podcast every week where I put my life, my story.
I listen to you talk to the Megan.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it's you see what I'm saying? So I just put myself out there. I talk to as many people as I can. But yeah, just be true to yourself, be honest with yourself, know what you want, and don't settle for anything less.
Exactly. And would you say also try not to get into the intimacy department too fast, too soon? Really get to know the person better before they go towards that path?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, it's going to make it worth it more so in the long run than it is to just do it all the way, do it up front, do it in the early goings at the stages of the relationship. Because, I mean, listen, hey, we've all been seduced by temptation, brother. Yeah. But you gotta, you gotta hold back and say, God, I really want to make out with her so hard. It's like, listen, I hear you, brother, but you gotta pace yourself. You gotta just relax, brother. Yeah. So just relax, take it one step at a time. Don't try to think 10 steps ahead of the curve. Just live it. And this is something I learned from watching. Believe it or not, I did watch pro sports at one point in my life. Pro wrestling, brother. So live in the moment. That is one of the few things I've learned from pro wrestling. Live in the moment. Just take it as it comes. Don't try to plan ahead too far in advance. I mean, as far as planning your next date, that's fine.
And I love that you're saying that, Ryan, because I went on a date not a long time ago, and the guy tried to grab me by the waist and grab my hand, and I was keeping saying, hey, personal space, please.
Boundaries.
And I was like, no, this is not gonna work out, because I know his intention already is like physical, and it's nothing to do with get to know me. The questions it was not there, it was just more like trying to really getting skin to skin contact. And I was like, oh, no, thank you. So I like that you said that. It's really important. And I'm proud of you. Keep that. And I will ask you to come back another time for us to elaborate another content and another episode.
Sure, I'd be more than happy to come back.
And listen up, ladies. If you're interested to get to know more about Ryan, this unique specimen that is save himself for the true love of his life, go on his Instagram account. Ryan, what's your Instagram account? Please tell them.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. You're a wonderful person inside and out, if I do say so myself.
Oh, thank you.
And you could don't worry, she didn't pay me to say that, fellas. So you can find me on Instagram. She didn't, I swear. Honest truth. So you can find me on Instagram simply at Ryan RPM5. That's at Ryan RYAN RPM and the number 5. It's all one word. There's no underscores or overscores, whatever it may be. At Ryan RPM5. Follow me there for all my podcasts, the different projects I'm participating in, the people I'm meeting, the conventions I'm going to, some of the celebrities I've had a chance to meet and talk with over the course of my Comic-Con years. I'm coming up on almost 10 years of going to conventions. So that's been a long road. But check me out there. Like, comment, subscribe, share, smash the notification bell, do all that stuff, because you're going to like the way you look after watching or listening to And I Quote on Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, hosted by yours truly, Ryan of Nerd Culture. I guarantee it.
Awesome. Look at that, ladies. It was an honor for me and true privilege to have you, Ryan. And I am so more like, I was already admiring you before. Now I'm like super huge fan. You might not be Superman, but you are my hero. And I admire you very much. Thank you for being here again and be so vulnerable. and be so proud to be who you are and really scream out loud that you are looking for the true love, that you do believe in love, that you do believe in commitment, that you do believe in true intimacy at the point that you want to save yourself for your love of your life and marriage. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for having me. This was fun, and you're doing a wonderful job. Just keep up the good work.
Thank you. For those that doesn't know me, my name is Beatriz Vieira. I'm your host from Sex in Toronto City. Please follow us at Pod Sex in Toronto City on Instagram, other platforms, just Sex in Toronto City. And we'll be back next week with another episode.